So it's time for another episode of Women We Love. Now, if you are on the west side of town, you've seen there is a new mothering store, I want to call it. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to work that out. But I'm here with the owner, Kalie, and it's called The Village. And I kind of love that because it takes the village. We all know that. So, Kalie, first of all, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Kiki.
And second of all, so what is this studio all about? Because there's a lot and I love it.
Yeah, so this place is all about moms and families. Our focus is on new and future mamas. So if you're pregnant and you're expecting a baby, or if you already have babies and you're just looking for community and resources, we've got something for everyone here.
So it's so beautiful. It's a really beautiful space, and I know you've done a lot with it. What inspired you? What's your why behind this?
So when I was pregnant with my babies, I actually was living in Phoenix at the time, and there's a place out there called Modern Milk where I took some birthing classes, prenatal yoga, and it was just a great space to come and connect with other moms and to connect with providers. I found my doula there. So it was just this incredible resource for me when my babies were little and when I was pregnant with them. And then I came out here in 2021. At the time, I was a pediatric sleep consultant. That's what I did before opening up the Village. And I helped parents with their 5 and unders sleep issues. So I had intended to come out and start my own sleep consultancy, and just very quickly realized how little support there is here in New Mexico for new mamas, and decided to start the Motherhood Company instead, the Village. So that was kind of where it came from and the inspiration behind it, and it's just kind of taken off and blossomed into something that a lot more than I expected it to be.
I love that because, first of all, it does seem like there's a need in Albuquerque for this, and I think it's nice to have people that you can count on, that you could turn to, because I'm sure when you're pregnant there's a million questions and things are changing and you don't really know, and it's hard sometimes to talk to just people at work and even family members sometimes, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a huge learning curve when you're becoming a mom, and even going through the process of building this place, there's so much information and education out there. There's things that I learned and I was like, man, I wish I would have known this when my little ones were even littler than they are now. I have a 5 and a 7-year-old myself.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just letting parents know what's available, what's out there. It's a big part of what we do, is just connecting parents with providers, pelvic floor therapists, lactation consultants, just a place to come and learn everything that you could ever want to know about being a mom.
So tell me, for people who don't know, what is a doula? Because I've heard that in different areas.
Yeah, a doula is essentially, it's not a midwife. They don't deliver the baby for you, but they are your person that has that knowledge of being there for a bunch of births, and they can help you with pain management, and they can help guide you and make sure that your wishes are honored when you get to the hospital or the birthing center. It's just your biggest support person. And a lot of people think, maybe I don't need a doula, I have a partner, they're gonna be my support person. But a doula can jump in, let's say your partner has to go pack the car to go to the hospital, and he or she has to leave you by yourself for a little bit while they're taking care of other things. Maybe you have older children that you have to make arrangements for. Yeah. So the doula can jump in and just do basically anything to make the whole thing just go so much smoother, and you feel supported every step of the way. It's a really invaluable resource, and I had a doula with both of my babies, and it was probably the best thing that I did for my birth, and my partner felt the same way. So
nice. So what brought you to New Mexico?
We have family out here, a very big family, so just kind of wanted to be closer to the support of the large family, and kind of wanted a change of pace from the big city too. And Albuquerque is so warm and inviting. And I've just found the best like personal village and community since I moved out here. I was not expecting that. When we first moved out, we thought, well, maybe we'll be here when the kids are young, and then maybe we'll move back to Phoenix later. But I've really fallen in love with Albuquerque, and the people here have been wonderful, and I'm putting down big roots now.
Nice,
so.
Nice. Well, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to fall in love with you too. So I think you're going to be good. But what advice do you have for a first-time mom who so I have 3 stepkids. I never had any babies of my own because we weren't able to. But just like looking around at the pictures, like it's making me a little nervous. What do you have? What advice do you have for a first-time mom who, is going through all these changes and
it's
scared.
a scary thing. It's a scary
Yes.
thing. And I feel like it's more scary when you don't know exactly what's going on and you don't know what's going to happen. So I like to know as much as I can going into an unfamiliar situation.
Right.
So just getting connected early to the providers that you want to find, the education that you need, making sure that you're going into your birth being as prepared as you possibly can. We all know birth is unexpected and it doesn't always go the way that you think it's going to go. But if you have that village around you and that support from the beginning, then you're going to feel a lot more confident in your abilities to have a baby, become a mom. They say in the birthing world that when a baby is born, a mother is also born. So we have the resources here to support moms in the postpartum period, which can be incredibly difficult, and then in the pregnancy as well.
How do you feel about more mothers coming forward and talking about the postpartum? I think that's very powerful because then it makes other women not feel so alone. But how do you feel about that?
That is so important because we spend so much time on social media nowadays. And when you're on social media, people aren't posting about the hard stuff,
Right.
Everything is just so beautiful and shiny, my new baby, and it can be a very joyful time, but it can also be a very difficult time. And, pretending like the hard things aren't happening, I think really does a disservice to new mamas who are struggling through some of that. So a big part of supporting a mama in postpartum is just you can come to a place and talk about the hard stuff and feel like you're not the only one that's going through it. You're not the only one that's feeling sleep deprived and like everything is in chaos and you're just surviving. We want to help mamas thrive in their postpartum period and not just survive it. And I think we also, during COVID, because everything locked down and you couldn't have that face-to-face connection, it was so isolating. I was asked the question as I was starting this place, well, why don't you start off with some like online stuff, online groups and classes and support. And that's just not the heart of what we're doing here. This is meant to be in-person connection, and it makes such a huge difference when you can sit across from somebody and actually be there when somebody is going through something difficult like that.
Because sometimes you need a hug.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you do.
I know. I went through bereavement online and it was, it was good and it helped me. It was what I needed. But, then afterwards we met each other in real life and it was just a whole different feeling. Like to get that hug and that human interaction, and it was just a game changer. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that we did that out of necessity for a while, but that's not what human connection is. It's not through a screen. It's in-person connection with other moms and other providers that can get you the help and support that you really need.
Yeah. So tell us, what other services do you have here? I know you have a nap room, which I wouldn't mind getting in on that action every once in a while.
Yeah, we do all sorts of stuff here. We've got our nap nook, which can be rented out hourly for sleep deprived parents to come, and you can drop your kids in our childcare. We have a childcare for our members, and that can be used while you're here taking classes. It can be used while you're meeting moms for coffee. You can kind of drop them here and maybe go grocery shopping because we're right next to an Albertsons.
Yeah.
So it's just meant to kind of give moms a little bit of breathing room so that they have the time to do some self-care and to connect with other mamas. So we've got the childcare, we have our educational classes that go, everything from birthing, lactation. I do teach sleep classes for babies and toddlers. And then we also have our fitness. So we have got prenatal yoga. We have some mommy and me yoga classes. We have postpartum, like core rehabilitative classes that are taught by a pelvic floor therapist. We actually have an on-site pelvic floor therapist and a lactation consultant, and they see clients here as well. We've got our whole maternity section, a great gift selection for mamas and babies. It's not just maternity. We also have great stuff for mamas that are past that period. We've got a coffee shop with some pastries from a local baker. Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's very inviting when you walk in. I will say that. It's very you want to hang out here. I almost want to grab my book from my car and just go and have a cup of coffee and relax.
Yeah, you can. That's what it's there for. We've got a nice little cafe and you can sit. We've got free Wi-Fi. So sometimes parents will come and just work from the cafe because we have video monitors set up in the cafe and the fitness room, so you can keep an eye on your kiddo while you're working and having a coffee, and being able to do that in peace is sometimes really helpful.
You've thought of everything here.
I tried when I was putting it together, because I had the inspiration from Modern Milk, but I added a lot to it and I made it a lot bigger than the facility that I went to in Phoenix. So I tried to think about, what did I need as a new mom? What resources and support? What would have been so nice, even just to have a couple hours to myself, where you don't have to feel guilty, and we've got qualified people back there watching the kiddos. So just try to make it a space where moms can come and feel safe to connect and have everything that they need.
Why do you think we feel so guilty about taking care of ourselves?
Oh my
because
gosh.
I know even now, my kids, they're grown, they're on their own, and we just went on vacation. And as soon as I got home, I felt bad that we didn't bring them with us. And they are grown-ass adults. They have their own life. They don't have time to just come on vacation with us. But yet, I kind of felt bad. I wanted them there. Why do we have such guilt all the time? And how can we make it better?
The mom guilt is so real, and it's such a loaded thing. I think there's all this pressure on women in general to just kind of be everything for everyone. And when we have babies, that it gets so much stronger because you're responsible for the life of this child. And then when you have other priorities and other things that are important to you, it just becomes this conflict of interest where you're well, I can't make them more important than me, right? But when you're a parent, you have to take time for yourself. You have to have that time to kind of decompress and do some self-care, and so that you can show up better for them. And it's this balancing act, right, of the whole concept of when you're on an airplane and they tell you to put your own mask on first before you help those around you. But what mother actually puts her own mask on first? So being in an environment like this that really encourages moms to take that time, I think is so important, and kind of taking a step away from the idea that we have to be so self-sacrificing all the time in order to be a good mom. Because that's what we've grown up, that's the stigma that we've all grown up with as women, is that if it's selfish to take care of yourself first, but it's really not. It allows you to show up better in all of your relationships, as a mother, as a partner, in your job, like all across the board. So I think it's really, really important.
Well, I think what you're doing here is great. I think this place is beautiful, and I want to tell everyone about it. So thank you so much for being a woman we love this week. Where can people go for more information?
They can go online to our website. We have a website. It's www.villagemotherhood.co. And then we also post a bunch on our Instagram. Our Instagram handle is @villagemotherhood.co. So you can check us out at both of those places. We're always posting about new classes, new events that we're doing, upcoming fitness and mama groups that we do for the upcoming weeks. So those are both great places to go and check out what we have to offer, or even just come down and have a tour and check us out, because we would love to meet you and get connected in that way.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for coming, Kiki. This has been great.
Okay, good. Oh my God.